Welcome back to another episode of Gamer Zero, where we spread that gaming truth like a virus. I'm your host, T-Heel. So, holy wow. I did my video yesterday about IGN and game trailers, and people hit the damn fan. I applaud IGN and Greg Miller. You've got a very devout defense force for part of the audience that responded to my video. There's a lot of things to be said, but the other part of the audience isn't on the IGN Greg Miller Defense Force. The other part of it are an audience that I did not intend or have any desire to offend, to make you feel that I'm attacking you. It was not my goal. And I do apologize. And that audience are the individuals who pride themselves in a B score. And I do not mean to take anything away from that. The 8 score is not what I was going after. And I'll get into that in a second, what I was going after, but I just want to make it very clear that I do not mean to take anything away from anyone who worked hard to get their B minus, their B plus. I do not mean to take anything away from it. I was trying to inflate the situation so that way you guys get where I was going with the main underlying point, but apparently I missed my target on capturing that. So I do apologize. I want to get that out of the way. Another part I want to get out of the way, and this is to eliminate a lot of the people that are watching this video. I got a huge amount of comments and emails, and it was very clear that y'all, a good portion of you guys, don't know who the hell you're talking to. And when I say that is, I'm not a hip-hop gamer. If you say comments like, oh, it's been a while since I've seen you, hip-hop, da-da-da-da. Did you get a different haircut, hip-hop, da-da-da-da. I'm not hip-hop. If you think I am, you obviously don't know who the hell hip-hop is. You don't know who I am. You need to leave, because you're an idiot. Real talk. I'm not going to even waste my time with that. Other group of people, if you say you hope I die, you need to either switch to decaf, either get on meds or get off of meds. I don't know. But I'm surprised your institution is letting you use electronic devices. Real talk. So, you guys, out of here. Don't got anything for you. So, point. The whole point of what I was doing is, how does IGN, and this is getting back to the whole score 8. 8 is not a bad score, and I'm sorry, I do apologize if I made it appear that I think 8 is a bad score. It's not a great score, it's not a bad score, by my definition of an 8 out of 10. Especially if you're doing 0.5s in between, or 0.1 through a full number. 8's a good score. It's an 80%. I've worked in the industry for so long where if I told my directors 80% of any, by quality standards, I was only able to hit 80% quality standards, I should pack my shit up and leave right away. They fire people for that. Most companies deliver, and when you're at the top, 97% quality is what's expected. Anything less, peace, you're out. It's a big deal when you hit below that 90%. And I work with individuals that hit those targets. Hits that 97% and above. So, I apologize. I've come to expect that. So, and of myself and of the people I work with. The quality. I don't want to affiliate myself with nothing but the best. So, I'm not trying to attack anyone. This is just a personal taste of who I like to associate myself with and what I expect of the industry. So, again, 8 is not a bad score, but that's not what I was going after. What I was going after was, how does Greg Miller and IGN ascertain that a game, Dead Island, I'm just picking on this, deserved an 8 and not a 9, not an 8.5, not a 5.5. How did they ascertain this number? And looking at it, if you're going to say all these great things and even make a point, I want to hurry through this review to get back to the game, that puts forth a sense that this is a phenomenal game. You want to get through keep this in mind. What you're saying by, I want to hurry through this review to get back to the game, means this is my job. I want to just rush through my job so that way I can get back to playing this game. That says a lot. I want to get back. I mean, when your job is playing games and reviewing games and talking about games, and you just want to get through that so you can play the game, means that it's a good game. So when your only gripes to factor in that it is an 8 score, or it has texture pop-ins, and that the graphical fidelity isn't an Uncharted 3 or whatever, or Gears 3 or whatever title, and that the other part of it is you feel that the plot, the entry point plot, is flat, and that the story is somewhat flat. But the gameplay is so compelling and so gripping, so immersive and so fun that you just want to get right back into it. But it merits an 8. What would have tipped that to a 7.5? What would have tipped that to an 8.5? This is what I'm getting at. A level of consistency. There was a comment made by another journalist saying that what they would score at IGN versus what they would score somewhere else, they would be different. Even for the same game, because their scoring systems are different. Inconsistency amongst website to website and journalist to journalist, even on the same website. So a website always gets to use the fallback of, I didn't review that last game. Why are you mad at me? These are things that I want to put forth and talk about. And apparently I riled you guys all up, which wasn't my intent, but apparently it had a silver lining because you guys are listening now. And again, I apologize if I didn't convey my argument well enough. But the point is, how did IGN and Greg Miller come to that conclusion? People say it's just his opinion. Do you buy, and I don't say this so much to the audience that's listening to my video because you're not that demographic, but do you think it's fair to the consumer who's got a limited amount of time, say it's a mom, dad, whatever, they're buying a game for their kid, that they should have to read thousands of reviews to find out a level of consistency, to try to find where something pulls together, or look at Metacritic, which is a broken system, or should a review be a bullet by bullet of what's the factual stuff in the game, and then was the game fun? Was it enjoyable for this demographic of gamers? What do you want from a journal? We always say that we want more of our journalists and of our game industry, but then when somebody challenges them and says it, you fry his feet instead of the journalists. And I do apologize for the 8 comment, and apparently took it way out of context, and it was metaphor and the level of sarcasm I was applying to it. But what I was getting at to was, how does IGN determine that the game deserved an 8? If you're basing it as a whole, then it's an arbitrary number, because there's no merit to there's no application for your numerical subtractions, additions, to determine. It's pretty much a dart at a board with your eyes closed. Wherever it lands, it lands. And then, even then, how are you going to go up or down if you feel, oh, I didn't give that the right number? Do you see what I'm saying? This is what I'm getting at, was it fun? How do you, everything can be quantifiable. You can put it into a numerical number. And I know IGN doesn't like the number system. But if you think it's unimportant, you're deluding yourself. If you think a numerical scoring isn't important. Because if a consumer has a limited amount of time and they want to get straight to the punch, they're going to look straight at the number. What did it rate at? And if you're using Metacritic and you're that same consumer, now it's even more confusing. So what I'm trying to get at here, and I can't elaborate this enough, and I'm hoping that I'm doing a sufficient job at hitting strides on my point, which is, how does a website come to this conclusion? Are they applying some kind of system to determine when they throw together a score? Because fun is purely subjective. Being able to fluff an article by being articulate and elaborate our strong points but they don't. Your opinion when you're putting in a review is purely subjective. So these are things I want you guys to think about. I know people were coming out of the woodworks to attack me, and I'm not doing this to attack IGN or Game Trailers or XPlay or Kotaku or any site. What I'm trying to get at is how do they come to these conclusions? Because you always see two audiences, an audience that completely and utterly disagrees with that website's review of a game, and other ones that blindly believe it. Regardless, this audience right here lets that website determine their purchasing dollars. So they miss out on all these gems. And I say this because I myself have talked to many people who don't buy games, and I've had these conversations. Oh no, XPlay gave this game a 2 out of 5. I'm like, I guarantee you will enjoy this game. I guarantee you will enjoy it. The person was a little shady about it. They went back, bought the game, played through it, came back to me and was like, oh my god, yes. This is what I'm trying to get at, is that don't put that stuff for face value, because it's all arbitrary on there. There's no consistency. I mean, you can't even hold two journalists of a website's feet to the fire and say, hey, why are you saying this and you're saying this? I mean, if you're representing IGN or Game Trailers or XPlay or anywhere, the level of consistency should be there. But it's not. And one person came on to me, OG Gamer, I believe it was, and again, if I'm misquoting the person, I apologize. I believe it was OG Gamer. But the statement was made, and I don't have my laptop in front of me, that if we all just did the factual stuff, then there would be kind of like no point. That's not true. You can provide facts and still be articulate and elaborate, because at the end of the day, the review should be entertaining. That doesn't mean you project your opinion as fact. This is what I'm trying to get at. Being able to separate your opinions and what's factual and still be able to provide both is a skill that one, as a journalist, needs to master and put forth. Now, if you agree with Greg Miller's review, that means he spoke to you. And I don't want to even get derailed off on this, so I want to know what you guys think now that I've kind of done this rebuttal video to you guys, which I'm sure, and from what I've seen, a lot of websites don't do response videos to you, the guys who are commenting and reading. So I want to know what you guys think. Did this help you understand where I'm coming from? Do you understand that I'm not attacking the 8 score, that I'm more going after how do they ascertain that score? What was the criteria, if any, that were used? And that, again, B is, I was hyperboling the situation, is not a barely passing, obviously. Based on perspective. If you're in school, I know a lot of parents that fried their kids' ass if they got a B and not an A. So it's very situation by situation. So that's all I've got. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully I don't get any more death threats through my emails. But I'm sure that will happen. So that's all I've got. You know, you can follow me on hiphopgamershow.com. On Twitter, it's T_Hill0. Or if you game with me on PSN, it's T-Hill. Alright, I'm out. Peace.